What's good, YouTube? I'm back with another video. And this video about to be, one of my vulnerable videos. I'm not gonna lie, I'm about to talk about some real shit. But I finally feel like I can talk about it because I finally have a voice now to speak on it. You know what I mean? Like before, I didn't have a voice, but now I actually have a voice, and I'm thankful that I got a voice. I ain't gonna lie. Without further ado, let's get into the video. In this video, I'm gonna be talking about my second relationship. A lot of people, men specifically, will connect with this one because I feel like, a lot of men go through stuff like this and nobody really talks about it or speak on it. So I'm gonna share my experience about my second relationship. I had to cut out some of the videos, some of the parts where I talk about how we met and all that bullshit because it was way too long. The video was way too long, but keep watching. But at this point in the relationship, and this is literally the same month I feel like we started dating. At this point in the relationship was when my trust issues started to come out really bad. Like I said before, like when we started arguing back in February, I did not want the toxicness. I wanted to end that toxic cycle within me, within the people around me. Fuck that, you know what I mean? So when we started dating, I promised myself, like, Dante, the trust issues that you got, any issue that you have that's gonna sabotage this relationship, throw it out the window. Don't even think about it. So the trust issues, don't think about it. Don't think she gonna get with somebody. Don't think none of that shit, bro. And everything else. So I stopped doing it. I didn't, nothing, nothing. I remember something had happened, bro. She went to a cigarettes after sex concert with her friend and shit, which is cool. You know what I'm saying? That's cool. So then she came back, and one of the first things she said to me was, Dante, this guy, I can't say the guy's name, but this guy that I used to have sex with, basically who he is, this guy I used to have sex with, he blocked me on Instagram. My friend told me he blocked me on Instagram, and I looked at it, and he really blocked me. Like, why did he do that? The first thought in my head, bro, was, why the fuck do I care? Why do I care? Why are you telling me like I give a fuck? I don't care that this dude blocked you on Instagram. I don't care. The second thing I thought is, why do you care? Why do you care enough to tell your boyfriend that a dude you used to have sex with blocked you on Instagram? That makes me feel like you are hurt by that. And why are you hurt if you're with me? You feel what I'm saying? Like, that shit just confused the shit out of me. I'm not gonna lie, that shit opened up a wound in me. Like a wound like that wasn't healed, that I really just put deep down. I could not believe that, bro. I could not believe that shit. Honestly, we didn't really talk it out, but we ended up going over it, basically. This is all this relationship was having the issue and just going over it. Not really talking about it, not really figuring it out, just going over it, which is the result of our demise in our relationship. That was cool, we got over it, whatever. And I remember a couple weeks later, this is one of like the main hitters for me, I ain't gonna lie. A couple weeks later, it was me, her and her friend just chilling. And I'm just on my phone chilling, they talking and stuff, I'm not paying them no mind. And then out of nowhere, my ex was like, yo, if I was a celebrity, I'd fuck the whole industry. I'm like, I'm nigga. I couldn't believe that she said that, bro. I couldn't believe that came out. I'm like, yo, is that really what she just said? So I'm like, nah, that can't be. So I'm thinking all the scenarios in my head, like what that could have meant. So I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm mad as fuck at this point, but I'm not even gonna speak on it until her friend leaves because I wanted to be honest with her. So her friend left, and I'm asking her like, what does that mean? What the fuck does that mean? She's like, I don't see anything wrong with that. Like, what's wrong with that? What the fuck? What if I said, if I was the biggest content creator right now, I'll fuck all the content creator girls right in front of your face? You see what I'm saying? Like, that's disrespectful, bro. That is a real disrespectful thing to say in front of your boyfriend. And that opened up another wound in my body. That opened up my trust issues even more. And it probably opened up some other shit, I ain't gonna lie. Before I continue the story, I just gotta say, I got tricked out of my spot. I ain't afraid to admit it, bro. I got tricked out of my spot. Not every guy go through this shit, but if I went through this shit and I was blind to it, bro, I know a lot of other people was blind to it, bro. Cause I'm not really blind to shit like this, bro. I see right through people. I see when they using me. I see when it's disrespectful. Like, I was just blind, bro. Anyway, back to the story. And it's crazy because like that is an example of how like certain shit she would say or do, she didn't really understand how that shit would hurt me, even if I explained it to her. Like, she would not get it. Like, it would not like click in her head that shit is hurtful, bro. Especially when you say stuff like that or act a certain way towards your boyfriend. Like, that shit was hurtful. Sometimes like when I would explain myself and it would backfire on me, I would shut out. Like, I would stop talking, or I would get super mad, or I would get whatever the case may be. And it's because like I could have controlled myself, but at that point it's really hard to when I'm trying to explain and nothing is being understood, bro. It's just like, oh, Dante, you're wrong for feeling that way. Basically is what was happening. I feel like that is basically what was happening. I'm wrong for feeling this way. I'm wrong for yada yada yada. So that shit will have me like stop talking, like not talk to her for a minute, completely not say a word, because it's like, what more do I have to say? If I talk to her a certain way, which I wish I didn't, but I did sometimes, I would talk to her in like a rude way. I'm not afraid to admit it, because I was so frustrated and fed up with everything that was happening that I just didn't feel understood. And that is the one thing in my life that I don't like. I don't like feeling misunderstood. And throughout my entire relationship with this person, I felt misunderstood. Even after the relationship, I felt misunderstood. Since I brought that up, I'm gonna just go straight to the point. I was helping her with her issues throughout the entire relationship. Like, I wanted her to grow. I wanted her to be successful. I wanted her to better herself. I wanted that so bad for her that I stopped trying to like pursue my business. You know what I mean? Like, she's not the main reason, like the full reason why I stopped pursuing my business at this time, but I did because I saw how she was feeling, how she was doing, and I knew I had the capability to teach her. Because first and foremost, I want to help people, right? Like, that is my purpose. I'm gonna use my platform to talk about my problems so it helps the next person. Like, I want to be that way, like a Juice WRLD type vibe, basically. I was doing that for her. Like, I was putting in the time and effort for this person, like real time and effort. And honestly, like, to this day, I don't regret it, because I feel like she is a better person today. I don't really know who she is today, but there's no way I put that much time and effort and she's not a better person today. So I'm grateful that I put in that time and effort, even though I felt used. While I'm putting in time and effort to help her become a better person and help her understand herself more, I was fighting my own battles in my head that I couldn't talk about because this person didn't understand me. So that's another reason why I will probably stop talking or be quiet or whatever. And I was trying to explain that to her at some point in the relationship, and again, it just flew over her head. It's like she didn't see me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't seen for real. And that shit hurt me too, because that opened up another wound. You know what I'm saying? Like, another traumatic wound that I've had since I was young. And I'm really opening up to this person, like opening up about my life, about the shit that I've been through, about my trauma. And I feel like all that was for nothing. In every way possible, bro, I was just trying to help her grow in life, and I wanted her to grow with me, because either way, I knew I was growing, I was going up, I had a vision that I'm gonna achieve, and I wanted her to have the same type of vision for herself. I was trying, like I was genuinely trying everything I could, and it just wasn't enough. Another thing is, like, I didn't even want her to change really, like, who she was. Like I said in the beginning in this video, like, I loved her personality. You know what I'm saying? I loved her personality. I loved who she was. I don't care what came with it. I don't care if it was financial issues, mental health issues, physical issues. I don't give a fuck what it was. I loved this person for her. I didn't want nothing to change about her besides her becoming better for herself. And I feel like she knows that. And on the other hand, she wanted me to change a lot about myself. She didn't like how ambitious I was. Like, I remember she used to say, like, all you do is focus on money, Dante. All you do is focus on money. And it's like, of course, like, I explained to you how I didn't like how I grew up and how I didn't have money and how I wanted to better my situation. Like, at this time, I was living at my mom's house and I was living on the couch, sleeping on the couch. You know what I mean? And she would come over, we would sleep on the couch and yada, yada, yada. Like, that's embarrassing. You know what I mean? That's embarrassing as fuck. And you say I focus too much on money. That is another thing that hurt me. It's like, you don't understand me. You don't see why I'm doing this stuff. And this is after, like, I stopped focusing on my business to really, like, focus on her. You know what I mean? Like, that's a mistake number one. I remember telling her how I used to wear the same clothes to school, from elementary to fucking middle school and high school. Like, I told her all that shit. Like, of course I'm focused on money. But she did tell me I should go to therapy because of some of the shit that I went through and stuff. But I was like, nah, it's for girls. Like, I'm not doing that shit. But I ended up going to therapy in January 2024 because something happened that was completely my fault. Like, some bullshit happened. Like, I was with her family and stuff, and it was a lot going through my mind. and I just didn't want to be with the family. Like it was way too much going through my mind. Bullshit, but you know, real life shit. I kind of was embarrassed for myself. So I said, you know what? I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to have to like think about certain stuff and not understand why it's happening or why it happened or none of that bullshit, and have that affect the people around me. You know what I'm saying? The situations around me. So I said, you know what? I am gonna go to therapy. Like I feel like I do need it. I do want to understand myself. Part of that reason at the beginning of me going to therapy was because of my ex-girlfriend. So I went to therapy, and at first, like I said, it was about my ex. As time went on, I started to understand myself a little bit more, because we stopped really talking about my ex and we started talking about how I grew up and yada yada yada, and why certain things are that way. And I'm like, oh, everything makes sense now. And now I could really control the way I speak, control the way I feel, control the way I react, control the way if I want to shut down or not. And I remember vividly, I was telling her, like, I feel like I can be better. I feel like I know what I can do better for you. I know that I can communicate now my feelings thoroughly. I know that I can control my mouth, yada yada yada. And she told me all the stuff that she wants me to change. And I remember telling her all the stuff I wanted her to change. And it was only 2 things. It might have been, I think it was 3, but I can only remember 2. It was, please don't talk over me when I'm telling you how I feel or I'm trying to get you to understand me. And please don't victimize yourself. Please don't get defensive. Please don't get defensive when I'm trying to tell you how I feel and why I feel a certain way. And guess what? She continued to do that. I was changing. I was saying, hey, shit. See? I almost said her name. I almost said her name. I remember I used to say, hey, like, I'm feeling this way. And, you know, this is why I'm feeling this way. You did this and it made me feel this way. And she would just talk over me. She would get defensive, of course, and I'm just like, you're not understanding me. Like, all you have to do is say, I'm sorry, Dante. How can I make you feel better next time or whatever? You know what I mean? She used to say, like, it sounds like I'm coming at her by assuming stuff. So I would switch it up and talk about, I feel this way. I feel like you, yada yada yada. So it doesn't make it seem like it's a firm thing. You know what I mean? Again, something I changed for her. And it would still be the same thing, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. It was just detrimental to my brain, bro. I remember another time I was misunderstood. Something happened, and she didn't want to be at her house anymore, so she left her house. She used to love going to like parks and stuff to like sit in her car and talk and everything. And I love that she did that, not gonna lie, because I'm just like that too. And that's another thing too, like before I go off track, like me and this girl was so similar, bro, when it came to, you know, music or jokes or like whatever. Like we were so similar, emotionally, like similar. And it actually, I ain't gonna lie, this is the first time I ever said it. Like when I first realized how similar we were at the beginning of the relationship, like before we really started dating, I was scared for a lot of different reasons, but we were similar as fuck. But she left her house, she went to this park, and I was like, you know what, I'm just go there, because we got into an argument. I'm like, you know what, I'm just go there, we gonna talk, whatever. So I go there. She's mad that I pulled up without saying anything. It's cool, I get it. You know, we're talking and everything, and I'm telling her exactly why I felt the way I felt, and she's still not understanding it. I'm not gonna lie, bro, as she's talking, I'm sitting there like this, looking out the window, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, yo, this girl does not understand me. This girl does not understand me. And then I started thinking about my life and how, like, I grew up with nobody understanding me, nobody really caring about how I felt and shit like that. And I honestly started crying, bro. I started crying. Not like, when I cry, I don't like boo-hoo cry, but just tears. Like, I'm just sitting there like this, just like this, tears coming out my face, tears. And she's not even realizing that I'm crying, because she's still talking, looking out the window and shit. And then she noticed that I was crying. She gave me a hug and everything, but I cried in that girl's arm, because it's like, yo, you still don't understand what I'm saying to you? Like for real? Basically, the moral of that relationship was like, I was pouring into her cup a lot, like pouring, and it was not reciprocated at all. Okay, maybe a little bit it was, but the ratio is 80 to 10. 20, huh? 80% to 20%. 80% me pouring in her cup, 20% her pouring in mine. Of course, that drained my brain. Of course, I would get mad. Of course, I would feel like I'm being used. Of course, I would feel like I'm being taken advantage of, because there is no balance. The relationship was not balanced at all. It's like I was supposed to care and tend to her feelings, but nobody cared about me. Nobody cared about my feelings. Even after the relationship, nobody gave a fuck about my feelings. Nobody cared that during the relationship, I would go home to an even more stressful situation that was so detrimental to my brain. Nobody would check on me when that shit happened. It's just crazy, bro. It's just crazy. I remember when I used to be mad at shit, and not talk, she used to ask me like, why aren't you talking, why aren't you talking? But before I was mad, I would tell her why or what's going on in my head, and she wouldn't really understand. So it's like, of course I'm gonna be mad, like I said before, but it's like she wanted the parts of me that was easy, but not the parts of me that needed care, and that shit again hurt me as well. And that's why I feel like it still kind of hurt me today, because I was trying my hardest and I never got the credit for it. She just saw me get mad and saw me get silent and saw me do whatever, and she labeled it quickly as manipulative, narcissistic, toxic, whatever. But in reality, all she needed to do was ask me, hey Dante, what's wrong? What can I do to help you? You know what I mean? And I told her that, like, I just need you to ask me these questions. Dante, what's wrong? What can I do to help you? What's going on in your mind? How can I hold space for you? You know what I'm saying? But this is the last couple things I'm gonna say, because I just feel like this video is too long and I'm going too deep, and I didn't want to go as deep as I did, but I can go deeper, but I ain't going to. I just feel like I was carrying a weight. I was carrying a lot of weight in that relationship. I was carrying the weight of her issues. I was carrying the weight of the shit that I had going on. I was carrying the weight of the shit that was put on me from when I was younger. It's just so much that got put onto me, which I think is cool. I feel like as a man, you should be able to carry the weight of everything you have going on 100%. Like, you have to do that, especially when it comes to your family, your kids, whatever. And I took that role 100%, and I'm fine with that. But I feel like it needs to be a balance, because if you carrying all that weight, you're going to crash out. You know what I mean? And that's where I feel like I needed my ex to just be there for just that. Be like, hey, are you okay? Are you okay? Just nurture me. You know what I'm saying? And that was not happening. And I don't think that was fair. You know what I mean? It wasn't fair for her to put all of her issues onto me, and knowing that I had my own issues, and still not try to understand me, and then judge me for the way that I was responding to not being understood. I don't think that was fair at all, bro. I was there for her at her lowest moments of her life. I was there for her while she was crumbling, while I was crumbling. You know what I mean? I was crumbling too, but in different ways. But I was there for both of us. You know what I mean? I saved her life in many ways that she might not admit publicly, privately, or even to herself, but I know she knows I saved her. I saved her. Even though I was going through my own mental health issues, I saved her. I don't know, bro. I feel betrayed. I feel betrayed. I feel very betrayed, for sure. I kind of just realized how long this video is. You know, that's just how I felt through my last relationship, man. How that shit hurt me, and you know how I'm going up from it. Cause y'all can see from my TikTok and my social media that, you know, I'm going up. You know what I'm saying? Me and her broke up a year ago, and I wouldn't be here without us breaking up. So I'm actually very grateful for that. Like, I wouldn't be here. You know what I'm saying? I probably, no, hold up. Honestly, I would have been here. I would have been in this spot where I'm at right now. I ain't gonna lie, I would have been here if it wasn't for her. But, you know, I'm grateful that I went through that experience, because now I'm back in my old mindset of a lot of shit. I'm back in my own mindset of a lot of shit. And this is no bash to her, no shade to her. Like, I still have love for her, you know what I'm saying? I hope she's doing well. But this is just how I felt during the relationship, and I'm just putting it on camera. But watch how this gets misunderstood as well. Of course though, right? But we going up, and we gonna continue to go up. I'm gonna continue to work through everything, and I don't care what I'm going through. I'm not gonna stop working, because I got somewhere to be, and you know, I'm gonna keep working for the rest of my life. That's how shit go. So thank y'all for watching this video. I know it's a long video, and I know I opened up my heart a lot, but you know, I want to connect with my audience, so that's what I have to do. So, you know what I'm saying, thank y'all for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. We're gonna have some more bangers. Like this weekend I'm gonna have a banger, but I'm gonna post another one before, but banger this weekend. And we're gonna keep going up, man. I'm gonna catch y'all in the next video. Haha, peace.